Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I am continuing the work on my trees that I've let grow over the summer, and I'm doing a fall pruning them back to size. I'm going to start today with my buckthorn tree, my smaller buckthorn. In the last video I cut off a major branch here, and I was very worried that it might kill off this branch, but it didn't. This branch grew really tall over the summer. I'll show you how tall it is. So that branch grew way up to here. So yeah, a very tall extension on the tree. So today I'm going to cut it back. Here is a close-up of the base of that tall leader. So I definitely have two strong buds here. And I think the trunk kind of comes up and curves this way. I think this bud on the inside here would be the one I'd want to develop. So I'm going to cut the tall leader off here, halfway between these two nodes. So here I go, a big cut coming up, right about here. Just like that. So there's a look at that leader. It was very tall and vigorous. So I will seal the end here with rubber cement. So this buckthorn I've kept in the glass greenhouse over winter at kind of just above freezing for most days. And I've never had any dieback on it. It's done really well. My bigger one I left in the poly house protected, but this year I didn't get really strong growth and I got a lot of dieback. So I'm going to overwinter all my buckthorns in the glass greenhouse this winter. Here is a look at the front of the tree. So it looks quite good from the front. It has a nice curvaceous trunk, which is unusual on a buckthorn. Usually they grow very, angular. But this one is nice and smooth and flowing. So this tree was developed using clip and grow. It was in the front garden. It germinated as a seedling, and I pruned it over maybe 12-15 years. And it was doing well, but then I started getting a lot of branches dying off on it. And you can see the back of the trunk is this section going up to about here is dead on the back side. So I'm hoping, in the future years that it heals over a bit, and maybe someday it'll kind of slowly start closing that dead section in. It's a possibility. They do heal quite nicely, these buckthorns. There's a scar in the front that healed really nicely. Now I'm going to look at the upper structure too and do some pruning up top. I'm looking at the upper structure of the tree now. So I think the front is somewhere about here, which means I have a branch coming the leaves are falling off. Kind of coming straight out. Maybe I could angle the front a bit so it's coming off to the right hand side a bit. On this lower branch it comes out straight, and this shows the angular growth of the buckthorn. They're very straight and stiff looking branches on the trees. So I'm wondering about this one that's coming up vertically, if I should keep it and form kind of a crown up here, or have it more of a traditional kind of horizontal side branch on the outside of the curve there. I think I want to build the crown up top so it shows this curvaceous trunk. If I made the crown here, it might hide part of the trunk line. So I'm thinking maybe I should take off this vertical part on this branch. The only downside to taking it off is then the branch goes from here all the way out here perfectly straight, whereas if it goes to here, it's broken up. So it's possible I could take off the back part and develop the branch like that, or I could keep both. I think I should keep both, but I think I'll prune off that branch on the bottom here. This one, it's kind of crossing the branch behind it, so I'll take this one off. Well, I think that looks pretty good. There's also a bud on the inside here developing a small branch. I'm going to remove that. I don't want one there. And then there's a few stubs I can clean up on this branch from the last time I pruned it. There's good buds here, there's good buds there. And I did prune this branch over the summer because it was starting to shade out the tree beside it. So I let the top grow, but this one did get pruned over the summer, so that's the reason it's more compact. I think this branch is good, this one's good. Now, I took off a branch here, and I got this branch kind of growing on a funny angle on the inside. I don't have anything else there. So what I'll do is I'll just prune the tip off. There's some buds that point upwards here, so I'll prune it off to here. And see what happens. It would be nice to develop something here. So I've got this branch, another one here, and maybe the third one will be this one in an upright kind of style. I think that'll look good. So I think that's the pruning. Let's just take a final look at the tree. There's a final look at the tree. Yeah, I think, you know, it's a shame it has a dead section at the back, but there's nothing I can do about that. You can only go forward in bonsai, and it has a lot going for it. So I'm hoping, you know, this will heal somewhat in the future, and it'll strengthen up, and yeah, I think it'll make a fine looking tree. Yeah, it'll be fun working on it. So that one can go back outside now, and I'll protect it in the glass greenhouse over the coldest part of the winter. The next tree I'll be working on is my small leaf linden, Tilia cordata. I've let this tree grow over the summer, so today I'm going to prune it back. This tree was a collected tree, and it was much larger originally, but it got a lot of dieback on it the years after I collected it. So it kind of reduced it down to a stump with one kind of half-alive branch here. So I've been developing this trunk line going up this side of the tree, and it's coming along nicely, that trunk line. I think that'll be the main part of the tree, and this will be kind of a back branch eventually. So it's quite tall. It grows up into the grow lights here, so I'm going to start by pruning it back, and then I can move it underneath the light a little better. Here's a look at the upper part of the canopy. The buds are quite large on these trees, so you can use directional pruning, looking for a bud that's facing the direction you want your new branch to grow. So I'll begin on this tallest branch. It kind of comes right up the middle, and I have buds down low, some smaller buds, some larger buds up here. The further up I go, the internodes, the space between the buds, gets larger and larger. So if I want to keep the tree more compact, I would prune it back to these buds down low, and that's what I think I'll do. So I'll prune it halfway between the internodes here. So I'll prune it off here, taking the top off that branch. This one, I'm looking for a bud that's kind of facing outwards if possible. I just have one to the left and the right, so I'll prune above there. Again, taking it back quite far to keep my internodes quite compact. This one, I can take it back to here. This one, that bud here and here, so I'll take it back to here. And this tall one, it's kind of getting to be a back branch, so I've got a bud here and here, so I'll take it off to here. That gets it so I can fit it underneath the grow light now, so let me move it. Here is a look at the tree now. So I pruned this in February, in the winter, and I picked somewhere here as the new front. And I still think it's a fairly good front, making this thick branch back here is more of a back branch, and developing this part as the main part of the tree. So I'll rotate it around, It's always good to always reevaluate your trees. The last time I removed some dead wood off here so it would allow this callus to kind of grow over the dead wood. Lots of branching on that back branch. Yeah, a very interesting tree, full of challenges. So I'll get the front view and I'll start pruning it up now. I think I want to change my front view just slightly. Right now the front view kind of has this back branch more hidden behind the trunk line, and I think I want it a little bit more off. So I'm just going to remark my front view, maybe to here. So somewhere about there. Now, that's my front view. I think this branch is all right. It kind of crosses the back branch, but I think I want to make it, you know, fairly full, this crown. So I'll start, this branch comes up here. I've got a bud on the outside here, so I'll take this branch off here. There's a vertical part to this branch here. There's an outward facing bud there, so I can take it off to here. And then on this branch, you can see the branch comes up. It has a branch coming off here, and then it comes up and divides into two here. I don't mind this third branch here. It's down lower, but you can see the tip of it's growing back in towards the center of the tree. So that's not good. I have a smaller branch down lower. That's not ideal, but it's okay. So I think I'll take the top off this branch right here and develop it from that smaller branch down lower. I'll just take that leaf off there. And then I've got two small branches crisscrossing here. So I'll want to keep one and remove the other, and I think the one I want to remove is the one on the inside here, keeping that one. So from the front it looks quite nice. Then I have some stubs to clean up, so I'll do that. So I'll come in, prune the stubs flush from the last time I pruned it, and I'll seal that with rubber cement, those cuts. Like that. Yeah, it's a little strange, this branch. It kind of flows outwards and then both the leaders go vertical. But that's all I have on that branch at this present time. I do have a little branch down low, but that's a little too horizontal to be kind of a vertical trunk line. I do have two new shoots at the base down here. Right here, that I don't see a future for those, so I'm going to remove those. I don't want it getting too congested in this area. This one here is, if I got rid of this whole branch, I would grow this one. It fans outward nicely. So I've kept this on as an option, that someday maybe I can grow this branch and remove this one. This one does kind of block your view of the back branch there. I don't think I would want to remove it at the present time, this branch. I think it's looking good. So I'm going to keep this one as an option for the future. I have a branch growing out the front here. It's just pretty well directly pointing out the front. I'm going to remove that one. The only way I'd keep that is if I wanted to shorten this whole upright trunk line back to that branch. This is, you know, kind of a new leader, but I don't think I want to do that. I guess I could leave this on as a backup. I'll leave it on in case I ever want to do that. You never know. So I'll follow this trunk line up. So here I've got a branch crossing this trunk line. I'll take my stub off and this stub off. And I better seal those cuts. They're fairly large. This tree is due for a repotting this spring. And I've noticed these small leaf lindens, so far, in my experience, they don't like being repotted. They kind of sulk and then they gain vigor. But you have to repot them to keep the roots happy. So, what to do up top here now? There's a couple possibilities. I could prune off this one and develop this branch. So taking that off there, but then I'd have this branch parallel to that one. I think the thing to do is to remove this crossing one. So I'll do that. That gets a division up there. This one I can prune back. I've got a bud here, so I'll take it off there. I could even still take that one off. It'd make a wider Y shape. It'd have better taper here. These two leaders here are kind of running parallel. I think I better do that. I think I better take this whole top off this branch. So here I go. Like that. Seal that cut up. And then I'm wondering if this one is too tall. I've got a bud here. I got one back here and this one. I better leave it. At least this bud's going a good direction. The other two are kind of going towards the back of the tree. Not so good. The branch behind that, you can see it here. I'll clean my stub up. And I'll prune this one. I've got a bud facing out a good direction here, so I'll take it off here. This one, it's kind of growing vertically up between these two branches. And it's not the worst in the world. I think I'm going to leave it. Yeah, it's one of those branches you could prune it off, but it's growing in a fairly good direction. Yeah, I don't think it hurts to keep it. Okay, so that's got this branch pruned up and this one pruned up. So let's go with this kind of back one now, which should be shorter than this one out front. It's getting kind of tall and dominant. It's actually thicker than the one coming out the front, which isn't so good. So on that branch, I'm just looking at all the possibilities. I could prune the whole thing off here. I think that's a little drastic. I could go here. That's a better choice, I think. I think that's a good choice. It keeps these branches growing out towards the back, so this trunk line can grow up in that space. So I think I'll take off that top part here. So here I go. I just got to get in here. I guess here is the best angle. Like that. Taking that off the top. I'll seal that up too. There's a lot of different ways you could go on the pruning of this tree. Okay, now this one I have a bud facing out the back, so I'll take it off here. I've already pruned this one back. I can take the stub off here. And then I've got this part of the branch going up. I wonder, this is getting a little tall. I've got a good bud here. I wish it was on the other side, but it's not. These are alternate buds, so you get one pointing this way, one pointing the opposite way. But I do have a little one down at the base there. I think I better lower it. I better take it off here. It's just getting a little too tall. This one, I pruned it. I can take my stub off here. Like that. I'll just seal these cuts up too. Okay, let's look at that branch now. So this branch doesn't really flow. It grows 90 degrees to the main part of the branch. It's not so graceful looking. I could at least prune it back short to an outward facing bud there. And it may go in the future. I've got a nice branch that flows outwards here, coming from down here, and I could take this part off and develop these two branches. I'll just prune this one back to an outwards facing bud. And do I take this tall part off? It'd probably be a good idea, so I will. I'm going to take it off. I'll better come in with the ratcheting pruners. Like that. Keeping these two as my branch division. A little finer, so it's not so coarse looking up top. Then I have a branch coming out the back here. I've got a branch that's crossing another branch and not very graceful, so I'm going to remove that one. This one out the back here, I don't have any buds on the bottom. I have a bud to this side and this side, so I'll take it off here, keeping it fairly compact. I've got a stub I can remove here. And this branch, I've got a bud here and here, so I'll take it off here. So I think that's got the main part of the tree pruned up. A little more compact. Still a little tall here. I do have, there's a branch developing here, and I've got this one. I could take that top off, and I think I should. Like that. That gets it a little more compact, so it's a little more equal to that front trunk in height, and it takes a bit of vigor out of that branch, so it won't continue to thicken up quite so fast. Okay, I think all is looking good on this front, this new trunk I'm growing out the front. So next, I've got to tackle that back branch. So there's two major divisions on this back branch. I have this one and this one, and I've thought, should I take one of them off to decrease the vigor in that branch and make it look less large? It's a possibility. From the front you can see, there's a lot going on back there, more than is going on up front here. But they're well-developed branches. I would hate to take them off unless there was a really, really good reason to do so. I do like this new branch here. I think that will be the future of this branch going up. That'll be sort of my branch line. Yeah, so what to do out the back here now? It's pretty old wood. You do get backbudding when you prune them back hard. It's getting quite long too. It's, you know, the tree is fairly compact except for this great big branch, which, you know, could be a feature of the tree. It doesn't have to be the front view here. It can be more of a feature if this is kind of the front view. Here is a look at the branch at the back. So I'm going to start out at the tip. So I've got an upright shoot here I'm going to remove. And this part of the branch, I've got a new branch forming here. I'm going to prune it back. There's a bud facing towards the back there. I can take the leader off this one. There's a big bud at the tip. And this branch back here, I don't like it. It's growing in between the branches. I've got a good division here, so I'm going to take this one off. That kind of gets that branch structure looking good. There's one growing vertically here. I've got an outward facing bud here, so I can prune that back. There's a big bud on the end of here I can take off. There's a branch growing in between the two branches here I can remove. A little one, like that. This branch, I've got a good branch here. I've got a downward facing bud here, so I'll prune it off here. And I don't think I need this upright one here. I have a division of two back here. I don't need a third one on the inside here, so I'm taking that one off. And then this division's good. I think that's all looking good. I'll just clean up my cut there. There's a bud facing the back here, so I can prune the tip off there. That's about all I can do on that branch. I can take a stub off there, I guess. Like that. Now, the other branch tip out here is a vertical one I can take off. A little bit of dieback back here. Unfortunate. The tip of this one died off. I'll take the dead part off. Move that leaf so I can see what's going on here. This branch, I've got a bud way back here. I'm going to take it back to there, making it quite compact. This one, I've got a branch, two branches growing from one spot here. I'll take the one off on the inside. This one is dead. Take that off. I'll prune this one to an outward facing bud. There's one growing from the inside of a curve here. I'll take that off. This tip is dead here. I can take that off. And then it goes vertical. I've got a bud that faces outwards there. I can take it back. I think that's about all I can do on that branch. It's not a great looking branch, but it's not too bad. The only other option would be to remove it entirely back to here, which would look fine. It would make this branch a little more interesting. It's kind of straight from here. It kind of goes straight out the back. It would certainly give a little more movement to that branch if I took that whole section off. And from the front, That's a tough decision. Let me look at it here. It certainly doesn't hurt from the front. It fills out that area a bit. And there's nothing, it's growing in the sun. I think I'll leave it. Maybe in the future it'll come off, but I think for now I'll keep it. So let's deal with this back branch here now. Let's start. This tip is dead here. I'll take that off. This one can be pruned back to an outward facing bud here. This one I have a fat bud at the tip I can remove. There's one growing on the inside here. I'm going to take that one off kind of vertically. And then this branch I'm going to take back quite hard to there. That gets that tip sorted out. I can take my stub off here. And then I have kind of two branches growing one above the other here. It's not bad from the front. I'll keep it. There's an outward facing bud here. I can take it back to there. And this one, I guess, to here. Now there's a bud down lower. I'm going to take a chance and take it back to that one. Quite a hard prune on that branch. Yeah. Then I have this branch coming up here. It's a bit of a twisty branch, which is all right. I'll take my stub off. Last time I pruned it. And then I think there's another stub here. I'll take it back. There's a bud facing outwards here, so I'll prune it back to there. And there's a bud facing outwards here. Prune that back. And I've got kind of a cluster of branches here. I'm going to take off this one on the inside here. That reduces the number of branches there. And I'm going to keep these. If these develop, then maybe these other ones can come off. So we'll leave it at that. There's a vertical shoot coming off the branch here I'm going to remove. And a couple here, little new shoots. And one here, a bud I can take off. And I think there's one growing back in towards the center of the tree here on the bottom I can take off. This one, I can prune it back to here. And this one, I like these two branches, but this one's kind of growing parallel to the branch behind it, so I'm going to take it right off. Like that. Keeping these little branches here. There's a cluster of branches here. The one is good. The other one's pointing back towards the middle of the tree. I'll take that out. Okay. Making progress. So now I'm to this section. And this one's pointing back towards the center of the tree. I'll take that one off. This one's good. I've got a good division here. I could take this middle part off, and I will. It's too straight. This one could even be taken back to this little branch, but I'm going to let that little branch develop first. It's good to have a backup. Yeah, I think that's it for the back branch and maybe the entire pruning. So let's step back and have a look at the tree now. I'm stepping back, having a look at the tree from the front view now. I'm wondering if this branch here is too long. If it would look better without that. I'm just covering it up with my hand. It makes the tree look more compact and less spreading, especially that back branch. To take that off, I do have this branch. I could take it off. I don't think I better, because I talked about maybe removing this branch in the future. These two branches kind of run almost parallel. That's why I'm considering taking that one off. But do I want to? No, I think I'll leave it. I think it's all looking okay. It's possible I could take off this part here so the branch comes out. This one's kind of crossing that back trunk line, which maybe isn't a bad thing. No, I think I'll leave it. I think that's going to be it for the pruning. I'll see how it develops over the next summer, and there'll be more decisions coming, but I think for today I'm going to leave it at that. I do, on this branch, I have a bud here. I could prune it back shorter. I think I better. One more internode. I think that looks better. And maybe even this one. I do have a bud in here and one here. If this one doesn't develop, then it would grow back in towards the center of the tree. I better leave it. I better leave it at that. I'll rotate it around so you can see it from all angles. So somewhere here is probably my front. So we are coming around to the right-hand side to the back. To the left-hand side. And back to the front. I'm happy with the linden tree. I think it's making progress. I think it's becoming more tree-like, and I think as this main trunk thickens up, it'll start to make more and more sense into the future. Yeah, so that is it for the small leaf linden. It's fall pruning, so I'll put it away. It's still outside, and then winter I'll protect it, and we'll let it grow for the next summer, and then repeat this process once again. I still have lots more trees that need fall pruning, so I will continue the fall pruning in the next video. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.